Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Sunday Messages. Today we are doing a current magic episode. I have something exciting going on, and there's a lot of new people in my world. I've been killing it on social media lately, and so there's a lot of new people here. Now, if you recall, the last episode of Current Magic, I explained that I was going to be just doing things differently in my business. And one of the reasons why is I have so much stuff. I have so many offers. There are so many classes. There's so much stuff available. And so I just want to go deeper into what I've already created. And the most exciting promotion is coming up on Valentine's Day. And I thought it would be really fun. Valentine's Day is my favorite holiday, in case you didn't know. And my birthday is March 14th. And so I was like, I think it would be fun to do something in between that time. So here's the promo. If you purchase a class or masterclass that's over $100, you get a month in Astral Playground for free. That means you get access to the whole library. You get access to all of the Astral Playground sessions that I've done previously. You get all the things and all the stuff. So that is what we're going to be doing. And I wanted to take a moment to just explain all the stuff that I have available so that you have all the information. And I kind of wanted to give you a quick and dirty explanation of all the stuff that I've created. So first of all, let's start with Astral Playground because that is honestly kind of the golden child of my work right now. And this was something that I actually came up with in 2020. You may have seen, I posted a photo of it on my Instagram. A whole bunch of notes and ideas. And I will often take a scrap of paper or just loose leaf paper and dump all of my ideas onto it. One of them was Astral Playground. I had no clue that I was going to find this when I was in the process of moving, but anyway, the idea pinged me again, and I've always wanted to do guided daydreaming sessions. But I didn't really know what it was going to look like until this past December when I actually launched Astral Playground. It was a smash hit from the get-go. People have been getting the most insane results. It's unbelievable. Go look at the testimonials on Astral Playground. It will blow your mind. People manifesting $20,000 sales in their business after a dry spell. Improved relationships, mystery packages arriving in the mail, countless things. And the reason why I think so many people are getting really good results from Astral Playground is because it's not often that we dedicate time to just emit what we want to emit. Like we're usually really enchanted by 3D, what's sitting in front of us, what we have going on in our lives. When really the manifestational work that you want to be doing is emitting intentionally what you want to experience. Because if you're emitting it now, you're going to experience it later. So I truly do think that that's the magic of Astral Playground is people are finally sitting down. Some people do it every day, but you're sitting down once a week and you are emitting a frequency that feels good. You're thinking about things that feel good. You're focusing on things that feel good. I'm guiding you so you don't have to do any of the heavy lifting. You are just being guided through this imagination, this storytelling experience that activates a bunch of emotion so you can then emit the frequency that you want to emit. Right? And there's a bunch of different topics. They all have like different whimsical daydreaming aspects. It's been a blast, honestly. And the thing is, it's $30 a month. Like it's such a stupid deal when you're thinking about what is the impact of you sitting down and consciously emitting a frequency that feels really good? The impact that that will have on your life is out of this world. And so people have just been gushing about it. And like, I keep collecting all the testimonials because they're crazy. They're awesome. Oh God, I could go on and on about Astral Playground. So anyway, this is why I want everyone to be inside Astral Playground. I want you to get a taste of it. Like, it's rad. It is by far one of the coolest things I've ever created. It's super accessible for people. And if you want to treat yourself to one of my classes over the next month, then you get a month free. Again, this starts on February 14th, Valentine's Day, and it'll run through my birthday, March 14th. All right, friends, let's get into it. I'm going to start with the regular classes. I'm going to give you the quick and dirty version of these. I'm going to tell you who it would be a good fit for and just the gist of it. Okay, and any other details that are pertinent to this current magic episode. Okay, Slut Magic is the first thing that you're going to see. This has been by far one of the most in-demand classes I've ever created. Now, there's a variety of topics. I'm not even done running this program. I continue to add to it, and my intention with this was to drip the content, which is what I've been doing. So earlier today, I just recorded a bunch of audios and I dumped them into the back end, meditations, a segment on inner dialogue. I wanted this container to be something that I continue to add to. So your investment will grow with this. The same thing is true for Money Magic as well. Those are the only two programs that just keep growing, aside from Astral Playground. But Slut Magic is the exclusive place where I teach body modification. So I get asked on a regular basis, like, will you teach body modification as a single module? The answer is no. That will more than likely never, ever, ever happen. The fact that I was able to do what I've done, and in case you missed it, in case you don't know, I grew my boobs by 2 cup sizes with energetics alone. This is not just garden variety weight gain. I've told this story countless times. I did a whole podcast episode dedicated to it. So I recommend, if you want to hear all the nitty-gritty details, go check that out. But the bottom line is this incorporates a lot of the body modification stuff. I just did a meditation for Slut Magic on body modification, put that in the back end, and I keep adding to this. There's modules on dirty talk, blowjobs, self-pleasure, like all the fun, sexy stuff that people like talking about. And I'm just coming at it from a very energetic-based perspective. That's always my lane. We know this. And so it's how I go about all things sexuality, all things pleasure, all things body modification. And I want to make it really clear, because I've been asked this multiple times. Holy Plastic is not the only body modification module. There are a lot of other modules in there that are important to lay down the base for body modification. So I keep getting asked this, like, can I just have Holy Plastic? No, you can't. The reason being is there's all these other pieces that you need to learn that will enhance and speed up the body modification process. So it's packaged like this for a reason, and it's going to stay that way. If you want to learn body modification, this is the way to do it, period. So Slut Magic is where it's at. That's the exclusive place where I teach it. And let me just say this again, Slut Magic is cheaper than getting your boobs augmented. So there is that. All right, Money Magic. This is my most popular class, hands down. All things money. All things money. I started teaching Money Magic after I got into like the $10,000 month zone. In all honesty, I didn't realize that I hit $10,000 months. This was back in 2020. And I've just continued teaching from there. So this is one of those things where I don't plan the modules. I live life. I learn about money. I expand my knowledge and wisdom and understanding of the energetics of money. And then I deliver another module when it feels ripe and ready. So your investment always grows with Money Magic. And the other thing that's worth mentioning about this is the price of Money Magic continues to go up. I'm not sure when I'll put a cap on it, but for now there's no cap. So understand that right now it's at $555 at the time that I'm recording this podcast episode. But when I add to it, I increase the price every time. So the people who are in, their investment always keeps appreciating. Just saying, like I like the idea of not rewarding, but like giving more to early adopters, if you will. So I like that style of running business. So that's how I do it. If you want to learn money with me, if you like how I talk about money, I've done many podcast episodes. Last year, I did a whole money series, if you want to check that out. And I love talking about money. I think it's so important to feel good and access relaxation and well-being around money. It'll really improve your life. Not if you just want to make fistfuls of cash, but if you simply feel peace around money, I think that the world would be a better place, truly. So I feel very strongly about money, and that is the place to go if you are interested in learning about money and energetic tools and different perceptions of money with me. Oh, the other thing that we did recently was a mental mold workshop. People loved it. Like I literally just sat. We might do it again. If you guys want me to do another mental mold workshop, you let me know. But I just sat and had everyone give me their negative thoughts. I was like, throw your negative thoughts at me, throw your limiting beliefs at me, gimme. So we went through all of the different thought forms together. We did a mental mold on every single one in real time and cleaned it all up. So that was a lot of fun. That was the most recent addition to Money Magic. There will likely be another module for Money Magic this spring, and I'm going to keep adding to it for the foreseeable future. So if you're interested in that, go check that out. Okay, Dom. I'm going to talk about Dom and Sub together because I think people have a lot of questions about the difference between the two. Dom is my second most popular class, and with good reason. So it is more of a cerebral tool. So this has more to do with how you're thinking about your relationships and experiences of other people. It is very energetically based in terms of how energetic fields operate together. This class was formed in 2021. Over the summer, I realized that the idea of free will was actually causing me a lot of problems. Like, I would go into a lot of victim energy around, well, they have free will. I can't do anything about this because they have free will. Or I don't have any influence over because of free will. And free will was like the default excuse that I was using to not get what I wanted. And I decided this is not a good idea. I need to cut this out. There has to be another way. So I really started changing how I perceived free will and how I was using it. The original name of the class, I thought this was like too intense, but the original name of the class was Mind Control 101. It was a joke, don't get too crazy. But it's the idea that you have power and influence. You do sway your relationships. Your influence over the things that you experience in relationships is way, way, way bigger than you realize. You have way more power. You have way more control, not over the experience of other people necessarily, but what you are experiencing in that dynamic. And so this is where I explain in depth the energetics, the mindset, the expectations, just all of that stuff regarding your power and influence in relationships. So it is about dominating the energetic field so that the world submits to you. That's the tagline. And of course, because we have Dom and Sub, it is a play on power dynamics in the energetic realm and just how to work with both. Dom is going to be more cerebral. It's far more mental. Sub is more body-based, and I teach a body-based tool. We have lots of different things that are going on in Sub as well, as far as a couple differences. Sub is longer than Dom. The core lectures are both 3 hours, but Sub has an additional, I tell a very personal story about my personal love life, but it was where my understanding of surrender really came from and how to access pleasure in surrender and what that really is, what that means. And so I tell the story in depth. That's like a 2.5 hour explanation of what I was doing, what happened, what unfolded. And then both Dom and Sub have Q&A replays that are already available. So that is what's available there. What else do I want to add about Sub? Sub is the inverse. So as I said, it's body-based, but it's also about letting go. It's about being able to relax your body into being held by the universe. And so it's about finding pleasure in letting God have his way with you, Sky Daddy having his way with you, and just being able to feel good as you're doing it. That's the key thing here, is that surrender and letting go and relaxing is something that actually feels like relief, not like you want to pull your hair out. So the mission in Sub was just to feel good in opening yourself up to more possibilities and letting go. There's also a bundle available for that. So if you want to buy them together at a discount, that's available as well. Clown. The clown archetype, you can see my clown right there, is, in my opinion, one of the most misunderstood, persecuted, and underutilized archetypes that we have available. And so, of course, I couldn't help myself but make a whole class called Clown dedicated to that archetype, because levity and the clown has the ability to transmute and alchemize fear. So fear, failure, and persecution, if you can really get into the clown archetype, it will transform everything. It's the ultimate alchemist for shadow. That is how I would describe the clown, and that's why I wanted to do a whole lecture on it. I also talk about creativity, accessing creativity. We talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs and why creativity can sometimes be difficult to access, what you need in order to really unlock creativity on a body basis. And there's a lot of good stuff. I talk a lot about failure, my personal experiences with failure, how to move through those. And there's some somatic tools, there's energetic tools, there's storytelling. It's a lot. And all of this came from my own experiences with failure. So it got to the point in 2021, I had failed so many times. I had so many projects that just completely bombed. And I was in like a lot of humiliation around it, to the point where I was like, fuck it, I'm going to teach this, because what else am I going to do with it? I'm going to alchemize it. I'm going to have fun with it. And the interesting thing is, Clown came on the heels of me launching Apex. Now, in case you don't know, I'm going to talk about Apex as well, because Apex is coming up. But when I first launched Apex, it was like a lightning bolt download that came to me from the heavens. It was like, this is the protocol. I wrote everything down. I received it and knew how I was going to move forward with it. And when I launched it, nobody signed up. It was completely bone dry. Nobody registered. I failed. I completely failed that launch. I took myself through the whole protocol myself, and it completely changed my life and is now my most sought after creation by far. Apex, I have no words to fully encapsulate what that has done to my life, but that runs twice a year. And the interesting thing is, had I not been able to just pick myself up off the floor and move through the pain of failure, I would have missed out on one of the most life-changing things I've ever experienced. And what I can say about Apex, running that twice a year for the foreseeable future, the cool thing about Apex is everyone who's gone through Apex has always experienced a drastic change. I have never seen someone go through Apex and not have the most insane results. It's incredible. Life-changing, slam dunk. Every single time I've had people go through that program, and it's like their entire demeanor changes. It's wild. It's crazy. Had I not gone through that, I would have completely missed out on like the opportunity of a lifetime. And so I talk about the Apex launch in Clown more in depth, like just because it was fresh. It was a really fresh experience for me at that time. And so all of that was in that class after like a huge failure, particularly around something that was really near and dear to my heart and something that I knew was incredible and has proven to be incredible time and time again every time I run it. And this is like the round that I have coming up is going to be my 4th round that I've ever done. And I go through the protocol myself as well. So anyway, it's been a trip. Life is wild. And it's so interesting that like out of that failure was actually one of my biggest successes. And like I said, it's my most sought after program, my most sought after intensive. So Clown is all about my failures. It's all about alchemizing that, shifting that, using play, joy, levity, and the clown archetype in order to shift shadow. If you were wondering about Void, I'm just going to go ahead and take that down. I've been contemplating taking it down for a while, and I think I want to go ahead and do that just because Void came out before Fabric of the Universe. Void was like the first iteration of what would eventually become Fabric of the Universe. And so if you're in a position where you're dealing with the unknown, you're in a position where you're like, I don't know what's going to come next, I would actually recommend Fabric of the Universe instead. Like that would be my recommendation now. Void is a little bit outdated. My work has improved since then. So I'm taking Void down. Don't worry about it. Soulmate Recovery. Oh my God, I'm getting flashbacks. Soulmate Recovery was actually my first live class ever. And it came from my own experience with a very intense soulmate relationship that I experienced really early on. He's still in my life, as a matter of fact. That relationship that class is based on. And this is not like in the middle of any trauma or turmoil. This is actually way after the relationship. I had moved on from it. I had a really clear vision. I was able to understand what was happening karmically and energetically. And so in this in this class, I go over like more of the energetic contract style. This would be great if you're super into soulmates and twin flames. I indulge you heavily, heavily, heavily. And I also explain, just how to see through karma. Because how I describe karma is it's like energetic leakage. So having a sense of familiarity doesn't mean that it's the love of your life and you're going to be together forever, because you can have a sense of familiarity and also have different desires in this lifetime. And I just unpack all of the nitty-gritty around contracts. Okay, so how humans are interpreting some of the spiritual experiences that we have in relationships. I have a whole list. Like there's a whole list of different contracts that I explain and I unpack. And man, I need to go watch that again. It was just so much fun. Honestly, that was a really, really fun class. People loved it. I think, oh yeah, we do. We have like an updating your soulmate contract meditation in there that's really, really good. I still use that one all the time. Oh man, like this is really taking me back to that was like a good era for me. So check that out if you're more into the love, romance, soulmate connection. If you want to know my thoughts on twin flames, soulmates, navigating karma, that would be the place that I would send you. The White Rabbit. Let me just tell you, what was happening during the White Rabbit was completely insane. So just a little bit of context. That is my class about time. All things time, your relationship with time, how you use time, what time is, the understanding of time. Time was a concept that I had been wanting to teach on for a long time. And so I was just learning and learning and learning and learning about time and the experience of collapsing time. And it was wild because at the time that I actually gave those lectures, I think there's 3 lectures and a Q&A, if I remember correctly. I was running the second round of Apex that I had ever done. And what happens during Apex is it catapults you into like a whole other dimension. That's the way that I describe Apex, because your frequency changes so rapidly as you're going through that program that anything that is not an energetic match just completely evacuates itself from your experience. And so this was happening at the time that I was in Apex, or that I was running the White Rabbit, because as I was doing Apex, my younger sister was living with me at the time, and it rocket launched her out of my experience. And so I'm talking and teaching about time as I'm collapsing time in real time. The other crazy thing that happened was during one of the lectures, I even made a comment about, oh, I'm feeling so good about this, and I'm so in the zone around this experience that any impatience that I've had has completely dissolved around this topic. And then it immediately dropped in. I think it was like a week later. There was a huge manifestation that came through, and so you get to see what that was at that time. But I was so living that work at the time that I was teaching it that all of this incredible stuff was going on during the White Rabbit, and it was just so intense for me at that time that I was teaching it, because so much was happening. I was rapidly evolving, taking myself through Apex again, really getting into the mastery of my experience of time. The year prior, I spent a whole year manifesting my dream house, and I finally, like at the last minute, I got it. Like I nailed how to get things to drop in quickly. And so I was able to speak to a lot of these experiences in a really fresh way. And what I find is that my work is best when it's fresh. Like when I've got it, when I'm like, yes, I just locked that in. I had that experience. This is so alive for me. It's like there's a certain season and level of maturation that I like teaching at. And so that was just really, really alive for me. If I were to teach the White Rabbit now, I think it would be a little bit stale. It's kind of like, yeah, I know that like the back of my hand. It's not super exciting for me, but at that time, holy moly, it was real. And so there was just so much going on. There was so much going on during the White Rabbit. Things were happening so quickly. I just manifested huge things. I had massive manifestations coming in. Huge pieces of my life were transforming at a rapid pace. It was crazy. And so if you're interested in time, collapsing time, understanding time, navigating time, understanding how to work with time and manipulate time, moving through time in a different way, that's the place for you. Okay, we are moving on to Masterclasses. I will put the link to Masterclasses as well. So you're going to see classes, then Masterclasses. And you may have been in some of these in the past, so we're going to get into it. Now, the 7 Deadly Shadows, that's free. It's available on my YouTube. You can watch that right away. So there's no cost for that. There's no paywall. You can just go watch it. It's bomb. It is like one of the coolest things I've ever made, fully. So obviously that's not included in the promo, because that's available to you now. Okay, starting strong. Fabric of the Universe. This is the infamous Fabric of the Universe. Hands down, my most popular masterclass, like the most memorable, the one that people talk about. This completely changed how people talk to me. I kid you not. If you ever see any testimonials or messages or anything that has been sent to me, any comments on YouTube even, where someone says, I was in orange, or I'm in green, or they're talking in color, it's because of Fabric of the Universe. Fabric of the Universe, some of my best work, hands down. That masterclass, out of this world. Out of this world. I feel like that was revolutionary for you understanding the quantum field, your emotions, navigating your emotional world, and really how to position yourself, one, for things that you've never experienced before, things that are new to you, manifestations that you've never had, understanding the neutrality of manifestation. Oh my God. It is so good. On top of that, if you took the free version, but you haven't paid for it, there's another module inside. There's a 4th module that I did not teach live when I was running it called the 4th dimension of emotion. And so this is going deeper into navigating emotion, and it's incredible, truly. So go check that out. If you want to know more about manifestation, emotion, quantum field, that stuff, I flex a lot of my scientific background. If you don't know, I got a bachelor's of science in psychology. That's what I got my degree in. So I had to take a lot of science classes, and I was really into neuroscience in college. So I flex a lot of that, a lot of my scientific understanding in that class. If you're super into science, this is for you. And if you want more of a scientific approach to manifestation, this would also be really good for you. And it also blends the emotional world as well. Divination. You know, last year, I rewatched Divination. That was one of the most entertaining masterclasses I think I've ever done. First of all, I teach you how to use a pendulum. So if you want to use a pendulum in your life, I teach you how to check your yes and no. I teach you just the types of questions to ask. It's a lot of, obviously, divination topics. I also talk about the energetics of divination, so why there is variability to it, why the future is malleable, and so that creates a margin of error when it comes to divination. There's just so many golden nuggets in that masterclass. It was so fun to watch. And on top of that, it's interactive. So you're learning a tool. I'm telling a lot of stories. I'm telling really fun psychic stories that I've never told anywhere else except in that masterclass. And that is for you if you're into the divination witchy side of things, you want to understand more of the psychic side of things. That is for you, for sure. So you walk away with a tangible tool. You can get a pendulum, and I even teach you what else you can use instead. If you don't have a pendulum on hand, anyone can do it, even if you don't have a proper pendulum. So that was a lot of fun. That was, I think I explained some elements of tarot. We talk a lot about energetic stuff like Reiki. We talk about psychic readings. We talk about just all the things. We talk about dowsing rods. All the witchy stuff is in that masterclass, for sure. That was a lot of fun. Okay, Heaven's Nectar. Heaven's Nectar was the moment that I fell in love with branding. Before that moment, I was not into branding at all, really. You may have remembered, like, it was the honey, it was like oozing, dripping golden nectar all over the place. It was the hottest branding. And then I used Gooey by Glass Animals. That was the song. It was such a vibe. Like, let me tell you, the branding of that masterclass, people freaked out. They were so excited. And it was like one of my original banger masterclasses. And that really is about the expansion of the universe, the divinity of your desires, and the cycle that you go through in desire. So that was a 3-day masterclass. And so day 1 is Sacred Hunger, and day 2 is Orgasmic Creation, and day 3 is Eternal Overflow. So it's about the rhythm of expansion. And it was also speaking to, like, why you don't need to be impatient, like really understanding your own eternal nature and how all of this works. So that was super fun. It will make your desires feel so attainable. That was one of the biggest things that I remember, particularly, I think it's in day 1 or 2. We go through and we're talking about desires and we're talking about things that we want and everything like that. And everything just feels easy. So that was a really, really good one. Super memorable, super fun. We had a blast in that. It was a super active masterclass. All right. Bitch. That is the next masterclass that we're going to be talking about. Just keep in mind, this does not qualify for the promo because it's $77. So it's my lowest cost masterclass. And this one is about understanding anger. Again, my teachings, when I'm teaching something live, it has to be fresh and applicable to me in the moment. So this is one of those master classes that I don't think I'll ever be able to teach again in the same way because I am a different person. So bitch was it was so real for me at the moment, and it was all about how basically I was navigating anger, expressing myself, setting boundaries, being a hothead. Basically, that's for you. If you feel yourself like you're popping off all the time, you're kind of a bitch, you don't understand what to do with anger, maybe you're not fully understanding where it's rooted, why it's coming up, how to effectively be yourself and own your truth and express yourself at the same time while keeping your relationships intact. It's a balance. It's a balance. And one of the things that, if you've been following me for a while, it's like I lean aggressive. That's just my personality type, that those all of my defense mechanisms lean offensive. So I'm not a people pleaser. I'm not going to like contort myself in order to protect. I really am. I historically I've been on the aggressive side of things. So there's some biology and physiology in this. I remember we talk a lot about the medical component, the biological element of this, and how that can make a difference. And just like the order of operations that you want to go in order to have the best results. So again, that's a masterclass. I don't think I'll ever be able to teach again in the same way. So if you are in a position where that's like the spot that you're really in, you're like, I am trying to find my footing with this. Or I would even say, maybe you're not necessarily a hothead, but instead you have a lot of resentments. You have a lot of things that you're covering up. You're seething inside, but you're not displaying that externally. This is about just navigating and the order of operations that you want to go through in order to make this really effective. So, yes, that's bitch. And then confidence codes. Confidence codes. Oh man, this one, we talk about a lot of stuff. We talk about self-concept, we talk about body image, we talk about, your connection to source, your connection to God, how you're seeing yourself, integrity, your reputation. There's a lot of stuff regarding confidence. It's one of those things that I get asked about a lot, and we talk about building confidence. There's a lot there. That's a 4-day masterclass, and I think there was a Q&A. Let me double check just so I'm not misleading you. Okay, so day 1 is the dawn of self-perception. This is about understanding your history. Day 2 is so about that. That's what the module's called. And it's about body image. And then day 3 is mastering your monologue. This is about what you're telling yourself, how you're speaking to yourself. And then day 4 is tapping the well. So this is about getting back into that flow state around confidence and just where that is sourced from. So that is confidence codes in a nutshell. And is there anything else I want to say about that? Oh, the other interesting thing, there was a huge mistake that I made during that masterclass where we got some dates and times mixed up, and so a bunch of people showed up to the Zoom room together, and I was basically a no-show because on my calendar it was a different time. And on day 1, it's like I'm showing you how I navigated embarrassment and still holding my confidence in the face of something really embarrassing happening. So again, you're getting a really live, fresh, this is applicable in the moment. I'm navigating it right now. And there's so much value in witnessing people doing that and teaching from a space of, I am living and breathing the work now. And that's why I like the time capsule of my teachings, because I can't recapture bitch. I'm never going to be able to teach that again. Or confidence codes. I cannot stage something embarrassing happening. And then holding my confidence in the face of something embarrassing happening. And there's so much value in you witnessing the live unfolding. And so I really love all of the things that have occurred, or like what was happening with the white rabbit. My life was rapidly changing. I was collapsing time around so many different things at that point in time. And then I'm teaching from that space. Just so much of this is good. When I'm teaching in Money Magic, I'm teaching things that the lessons have already found me. I've already integrated them. They're fresh and alive, and I'm teaching from that live place of this is what's real now. This is how I'm navigating this now. I'm not 5 years out and the material is stale. It's the real humanity and aspects of energetics that I am working with and molding right now that I'm speaking from. And so this is why I love filming these and not redoing them, and leaving them evergreen keeps that energy locked in. Like that, I will never be able to recreate that. And it's such a cool thing to look back on. Or like soulmate recovery. At the time, I really went into that with the intention of, and this is going to be like a toolbox, a healing toolbox, balm for your soul if you are navigating a soulmate relationship. How fucking cool is that? And I couldn't teach that again in the same way. And so I'm so glad I did it when I did, because I'm just in a different place. And so this is such a good episode of Current Magic, because it's having me go back and reminisce on all of these different teachings and how they came to be. Oh, the other thing. So again, all of the links to everything will be in the description box or the show notes. On the Valentine's Day Extravaganza page, I will also be putting gift cards, like a gift card option for those of you who maybe there's someone that you love that you would like to get a gift. But gift cards are available to use on my website. So just wanted you to know that that is also available. Now let's talk about Masterminds. So that is all. That's Astral Playground classes and Masterclasses. Again, the promo is when you purchase a class or masterclass over $100, you get a month in Astral Playground for free. If you're already in Astral Playground and you want to buy something, you'll still get sent the coupon code. You just have to unsubscribe and resubscribe with the coupon code, I think, unless you can apply it in the billing section of Astral Playground. So you can play with that, but just resubscribe with the coupon code if you want to take advantage of that. You totally can. And again, the only thing that doesn't qualify is bitch. Just so you know. I think that's the only one that comes in under price. And so everything else will work. Let us talk about masterminds and intensives. So you might know that I launched my mastermind, Graced. At first, it started as a guinea pig offer. I wasn't really sure what I wanted it to be. And it has now become like my favorite place. My favorite place. It's an amazing container. I run masterminds differently than a lot of other people. And so I really like the boundaries that I have in that container with people. It keeps it real clean. It keeps it real fun. It keeps it real engaging. And it keeps it replenishing. And just the thing that I keep hearing from people over and over is like, oh my God, things keep getting better. I'm feeling better. Life is going better. I'm having more fun. I'm receiving more money, more love, more good things. Like we've had engagements, $10,000 weekends. $10,000 is like the fun number that everyone seems to be playing with right now in Graced. And it's just so good. It's so good. All of it. Like, I also have a bunch of testimonials about Grace. If you want to look on the website, if you want to look on the sales page, I have all of the testimonials listed because they're so good. And it's been a blast. And on top of that, you get a consumption fasting workshop where I teach you how to do a consumption fast. We know I am the consumption fasting queen. I've done a gazillion podcast episodes on that too, so I'm not going to go too in depth on consumption fasting just because I've talked about it a lot. So if you're interested, There's even a whole playlist on YouTube just with, if you go to the Apex playlist, you'll hear most about consumption fasting. And then also you get another workshop that I'm going to be doing at the end of this month called God, Is That You? And this is all about listening to your soul, understanding how to interpret your guidance. Like, what am I getting pinged to do? Is that my intuition? Is that not? Is that my soul? Is that not? Where am I being guided? What do I do if I'm bored? What if I feel like I'm going to make the wrong decision? What about? All that stuff I will be answering. So it's going to be heavy on energetic tools. It's all of the things that I want you to know and be able to do as you come into a container with me. So I'm going to be running that live once, and then anyone who gets engraced will just get the replay. I'm going to update it as needed, but I don't want to teach that over and over. I'm going to get bored, right? So if you want to come to the live version of that, you are more than welcome to. We're going to be doing that at the end of the month. That's going to be available. So you can check that out. And applications are open. We start March 1st. So officially, the full container starts on March 1st. And again, you'll have the workshops given to you. Those are immediate access unless you're coming to the live version. And then it will be open enrollment. If you're wondering, it will be open enrollment unless it's full. So right now we're at 50% capacity, so there's only a few seats available. If you want in, get in. Like, now's the time to apply, and people in my world, they go fast. Changes happen fast. So if you've been wanting to work with me, if you want to get in on my magic, Graced is also the only way that you can work with me one-on-one and get access to one-on-one sessions without being a one-on-one client. And being a one-on-one client is my highest ticket offer. So I remind everyone of this. One-on-one work is like, you get my entire body of work. You get access to me every day. You get calls every week. Like, that is a high-touch personal container with all of my work. So that is a whole other offer. But in Graced, the VIP seats, you do get 2 one-on-one sessions with me every month if you want to get a VIP seat. So that is the only other way to do it. The main thing that continues to come through in Graced is you do not have to do everything the hard way. Really. Like, the right moves, the right things, the right opportunities, they're all available. You don't have to sit and exhaust yourself with mental energy and trying to figure things out yourself and doing things the hard way. Like, Graced is smooth and easy. And so that's the theme that continually emerges in that container, is just feeling good, having fun, living life, things going well, the right inspiration, the right opportunities, all of it is coming together. And it's really about feeling supported by God, the universe, divine source, Sky Daddy, whatever you like to work with. So it's just radically accepting your desires and allowing them into your life. It's been so good. It's been so good. And the other thing that is different about this mastermind compared to other ones that I've run is I'm sharing my work in real time. So anytime I get like a download or there's a teaching that wants to come through, because I'm not teaching live anymore, really, except for slut magic, occasionally money magic, right? There's only a couple of things that I'm doing live now. All of my teachings go in Graced. So anytime there's like a life thing that I'm navigating and I'm like, man, this is liquid gold that I need to put somewhere, I drop it in Graced. And I've been getting the most amazing feedback about how helpful it is to have me describe the different processes that I use for just navigating stuff, navigating human stuff, explaining how different energetic experiences feel, how I'm positioning myself energetically, the tools that I'm using, how I'm navigating things, being able to reflect that back, the feedback has been phenomenal. So I put all of the goods are going in graced. So that is, I highly recommend you check that out if you are interested in working with me. That's where it's at. I am going to briefly talk about Apex. However, I want to point you to the Apex playlist on YouTube. If you follow me on Instagram, go check out the Apex guide that I have available, because I made a whole guide with all the posts and everything. I have talked about Apex so much until I'm blue in the face. I know that people are like, we know all about Apex. So let me give you the nutshell version, and then I'm going to tell you about some updates that I've made to it. So Apex is a 2-month protocol with me. So it's an intensive. I categorize it as an intensive because it involves a consumption fast. So no media, no, there's book restrictions in terms of the types of books you can read, no social media, no TV. It's a deep, deep, deep consumption fast. No podcasts. Like we're dialing back your consumption to basically zero. You can't fully get it to zero, but you get the idea. We do a prep call. I get a lot of questions. And it's interesting because a lot of people want to count themselves out for consumption fast. Like, will I have to read at work? Or my kid watches cartoons. That was the most recent one. Or my husband watches the news. Let me make something really clear about a consumption fast. I am not telling you that you need to live in a cave and you're going to spontaneously combust if you catch a glimpse of a television screen. That is not what a consumption fast is, okay? It is I cannot trap you in a cave and make sure that you're not exposed to any media. That's not the point. Consumption fasting can be done for everyone, period. It doesn't matter if you read at work. It doesn't matter if your kid watches cartoons. It doesn't matter. You can do a consumption fast, period. And so during the prep call or in Graced, when we do the consumption fast workshop where I teach you how to do it, I explain all of this. I go in depth on the what about. What do I need to fast from? What can I still keep? What are the limits? What are the boundaries? How do I navigate this? It's like I've seen so many different situations at this point that I've got answers. Like I can tell you how to do this. I know how to do this. I know how to make it make sense for you. And so that is what the prep call for Apex is for. And I just wanted to remind you all, there are no circumstances where you cannot do a consumption fast. You can do a consumption fast even if you're a full-time student. It's doable. So I just wanted to remind you of all of that and make that really, really clear for people. Okay, so let's get back to this. Consumption fast, substance fast for 2 months. And then we are supplementing your life. We are shifting, we are taking score, we are evaluating what your personal values are, what your priorities are. We're reorganizing some things, implementing some structure, because usually when a lot of space is created, people can tend to flounder. Like, I don't know what to do now that I have all this space. So we mitigate that with the protocol. And there are specific things that I have you do every day in order to get the best results. And I have made changes, for those of you who are wondering. I've made changes to the contemplation anchor point. That is going to be different for this next round. I've also incorporated some different biological pieces that I'm really excited about. I'm calling it a biohacking anchor point. It's not really a biohacking anchor point, but that's what I'm calling it for fun. And so there's just a lot of good stuff that I have modified and updated. I've added an additional anchor point this round, like a mandatory anchor point. The anchor points are your touch points every day. So things that you are going to be touching base on, and there's some that are mandatory and then there's some that are optional that I help you figure out. So there's a lot going on. It is the ultimate revamp. If you want to hit the reset button on your entire life, if you want to catapult yourself into a whole other dimension, Apex is the way to do it. And it just consistently blows my mind with the results that people get. So I even have graduates and alumni from Apex who just use the Apex protocol like over a weekend for a reboot. Like they weave it into their lives even when they're done doing the protocol. I've had clients do the protocol more than once. I've had people do it solo. I've had people go through the full program multiple times. Like Apex is a smash hit. People love it. It gets results every time. It's shocking. Okay, so definitely check that out. Go look at the playlist. I talk all about it. And that starts on April 1st. There is a hard cutoff date. I want to make that really clear. There's limited seats, as always, because it's an intimate container. You get full Voxer access. We have a weekly group call, and we have a prep call before everything starts where we talk about the fasting, and we also talk about your anchor points. I take you through the entire protocol, and we start on April 1st. So there is no 11th hour nonsense with Apex. It can't be done. You have to be prepared going into the container. So I don't recommend delaying your application on that and getting in, just because you want to go into it knowing what the protocol is, having yourself set up for success. And we usually do the prep call like a week prior. So that's what we're going to be doing towards the end of March. So get on it. That's coming up. I'm going to be talking about that way more moving forward. And this round is going to be next level because of the changes that I've made. Like, I've made so many upgrades to this. And even in my own life, it's like, obviously I've been in deep practice with new tools and applying different things. And so I'm bringing that into the Apex container. It's going to be rad. It's going to be amazing. Can't wait to have you inside. And, let me just put it this way. I've spoken to a lot of people who are planning on being in this round, so I'm really looking forward to it. The last thing that I will say is if you are wanting to get into Grace, if you want to get into Apex, or if you are interested in my one-on-one work, you are more than welcome to book a curiosity call. I want to make it very clear that only because I'm transitioning out of general curiosity calls, and now curiosity calls are reserved for masterminds or one-on-one only. So if you're interested in any classes, you're more than welcome to email hello@onyxhealing.com, or you can DM me on Instagram, and I'm happy to answer any questions over there. But I'm not going to be doing curiosity calls for anything other than masterminds and one-on-one work anymore. Okay, so those are the only 3 things that we can do curiosity calls about. And yeah, that is a wrap, but those are still available. So if you are wanting to get into anything, I'll put the link to that as well. That will be available. You can book 20 minutes and we can talk about what you're interested in and see what is going to be the best fit for you and what I have available, what makes sense for you. And yeah, that is all. That is all for now. This has been a really long episode. I think that is everything. Once again, if you have any further questions, feel free to reach out. Me and my team will be happy to help you with everything that you need. And once again, the sale, the Valentine's Day Extravaganza sale, starts on February 14th, of course. And I can't wait to see you inside. we are going to have the best time inside Astral Playground. So I will see you in there. Have an amazing, amazing, amazing week, everyone, and I will talk to you all later.